broken clock on the back wall, counting down till the last bell rings. You lock the door with the plastic smile, say this is just our little secret thing. Ink stains on my test paper, your hand leaning where it shouldn't be. You twist the rules like a gold ring, say it's love, say it's meant to be. Leave the kids alone, you're not a savior, you're a thief of home. Predator in school clothes, life in a cage is a place you go. See ya, Chomo, see ya, Chomo. We need justice, not a whisper, sorry, go. Leave the kids alone, leave the kids alone. You hide behind a chalk halo, fake men are on a crooked throne. They call you ma'am, they call you sir, you use that power, strip us to the bone. Female face, male face, same crime, same cold eyes when the door clicks shut. Courtroom shrug, they were almost grown. Light little sentence, deep little cut. Leave the kids alone, you're not a savior, you're a thief of home. Predator in school clothes, life in a cage is a place you go. See ya, Chomo, see ya, Chomo. Need justice, not a whisper, sorry, go. Judge with a tired handshake, gave her falls like it's half awake. You get years, we can count on hands. We get scars, we can't understand. Names on a list, they move you towns. Paper walls, you still prowl around. Kids in rows like loaded guns. You pull the trigger, then you run. Leave the kids alone, you're not a savior, you're a thief of home. Predator in school clothes, life in a cage is a place you go. See ya, Chomo, see ya, Chomo. We need justice, not a whisper, sorry, go. Leave the kids alone, leave the kids alone, leave the kids alone.
Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
A pair of men are facing formal charges for sexually abusing a child in January. The Lubbock County grand jury indicted them this week. 22-year-old Edward Hippolito and 31-year-old Alexander Hippolito are charged with the sexual assault of a child. Police records show the assaults happened to the same child on the same day back in January. According to court documents, she was drugged during the assaults. Both men are in the Lubbock County Detention Center on a $150,000.
Sent a tip to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children after finding child pornography on a Google Drive. The tip led to the arrest of 30-year-old Daniel Briggs. In real big trouble. That's what police say Daniel Briggs said after being arrested. Waunakee police say they found 6 pictures with child pornography on Briggs' Google Drive. A criminal complaint say they were made with artificial intelligence.
We've added a statute like this to make sure that the law actually captures not just images that were made of actual children, but also images of children that were generated by artificial intelligence.
John Gross is a law professor at UW. He says Briggs is charged because of a newer Wisconsin law that bans making or having virtual child pornography. That statute passed in 2024.
Addendum to existing laws to make sure that this type of content is also criminalized, and there's not a defense to it by arguing that this wasn't a real person, it was artificially generated.
If convicted, those charged could face up to 25 years per count.
The maximum for each of those would be 15 years in jail. And then there's post-release supervision. But if a judge wanted to, they could sentence him consecutively for each image. So we're really talking about an enormous amount of potential jail time. Also, each one of these counts has a mandatory minimum of 3 years.
Briggs is facing 6 counts, 1 for each image. The complaint says during his arrest, he told officers that all of the pictures were AI. He goes on to say, quote, "I've actually been wondering what's going to happen with that."
The key really is that the statute has to be a realistic depiction and something that approximates the image of a child, even if it's artificially generated.
Next up, we know that Briggs will be back in court next month.
Tonight, law enforcement arrested a shallow water band director. He's accused of carrying out an inappropriate relationship with a student. The charges followed an investigation by Shallow Water ISD's police department and Texas Rangers. 27-year-old Joseph Gonzalez is charged with continuous sexual abuse of 2 or more children. In a forensic interview, the student told child advocates and DPS investigators while Gonzalez was a teacher of hers, he coerced her into sending explicit photos and videos of herself over Snapchat. According to court documents, he molested her at her home and on school campuses. This girl says those assaults started in May 2024 and continued through this last December. DPS investigators traced the Snapchat account back to Gonzalez. The district began a formal investigation more than a month ago, and he was put on administrative leave then. State police arrested him today. Gonzalez is in the Lubbock County Detention Center on a $500,000 bond. Shallow Water ISD released a statement following his arrest. In it, officials tell us the district was first made aware of the student's claims after school hours on February 2nd, and that Gonzalez has been on that administrative leave since the morning of February 3rd. The district is promising to continue handling this situation with students and staff as the top priority.
Lane County man has been arrested and charged with exploiting a minor from Canada and possessing online child sex abuse materials. The Newark Police Department says 20-year-old Braden Burgeford is accused of contacting a child through the online gaming platform Roblox and allegedly sending the victim sexually explicit images and videos. Investigators say the suspect's phone was taken during the investigation, and then they discovered more abuse on that phone, more abuse material, that is. Burgeford is charged with first-degree disseminating indecent material to a minor, criminal solicitation, and more. He's set to return to court next Wednesday.
A Biloxi man will spend the rest of his life in prison for child sexual abuse.
Prosecutors say 45-year-old Ellis Lamont Sinels molested a girl for about a decade, starting when she was 5. A Harrison County jury found him guilty of sexual battery, exploitation of a child, and touching a child for lustful purposes.
Investigators say his phone held dozens of pornographic images and videos with the child. Judge Christopher Schmidt sentenced him to 2 consecutive life sentences without parole as a habitual offender.
Bensalem police are putting the word out about a resident who was arrested in Colorado earlier this week as part of a national sextortion investigation. Now, detectives are looking for potentially more victims and hoping that they come forward. So this is the suspect, 25-year-old David Arigi. Investigators believe that he targeted women and girls as young as 14 years old since at least 2018, that he allegedly used apps and social media to contact victims and convince them to send intimate photos and videos in exchange for payment. And that payment was apparently never paid. So again, Bensalem police think that there may be more victims that they would like to be able to get in contact with. Jacqueline, back over to you.
Cameras aren't allowed in court for any cases involving sexual offenses, but I was in the courtroom when Louisa Melchione was sentenced, handcuffed, and taken away. Melchione spoke briefly before that, saying she is deeply remorseful and understands the harm she's caused the victim. The prosecution called it a very disturbing case. A guidance counselor at Nathan Hale Middle School accused of performing sex acts on a 13-year-old student in her office. On Tuesday, the case against Louisa Melchione came to an end when a judge sentenced her to 4.5 years in prison, followed by 12 years of probation. Melchione previously pleaded guilty to second-degree sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor.
The allegations are far from who she is, who she's working to be. She deeply regrets letting her community and her school down and her peers.
Norwalk police began investigating Melchione in April 2024 after a tip about explicit texts with a student on her phone. She was arrested a few months later and was no longer employed by Norwalk Public Schools. According to Melchione's warrant, the inappropriate relationship began in the spring of 2023 with the two exchanging nude photos. Then things escalated. The child stated that he would receive lap dances while in her office. The child also stated that Melchione performed oral sex on him on numerous occasions. In court, Stanford State's Attorney Paul Forensic said he didn't know what compelled Melchione to engage in such behavior, but he acknowledged she's taking accountability. Melchione's attorney agreed.
She understands how sensitive a case like this is, and she's accepted responsibility by entering this plea and looking forward to the rehabilitation part of this program.
The victim's attorney told News 12, while no sentence can fully repair the trauma caused, the court's decision sends a clear message that this kind of abuse will not be tolerated. Our priority now is supporting our client as they continue the difficult work of healing and reclaiming their sense of security. The criminal protective order barring Melchione from contact with the victim will remain in place for the next 50 years. In Stanford, Marissa Alter, News 12, Connecticut.
A former Madison teacher accused of sending sexually explicit messages to a Texas teenager is now facing federal charges. 58-year-old David Fawcett was indicted by a grand jury on 2 counts of producing child pornography. In Dane County, he's charged with child sexual exploitation and 3 counts of possession of child pornography. At a hearing this week, prosecutors allege Fawcett microwaved his devices when a SWAT team came to his home in a bid to destroy the messages. Prosecutors say Fawcett had dozens of conversations with at least 15 girls, some as recently as January. Fawcett was a teacher at Nuestro Mundo Community School.
Turning to stories here at home in Central Florida this morning, a hospital worker is behind bars accused of sexually abusing a child.
And investigators believe that there could be dozens of victims. West 2's Bob Hazen reports the suspect worked at the hospital there.
He had a job here at South Lake Hospital, and investigators have not said there's any evidence connecting the hospital to any of the victims, but that, of course, is a very big concern. The man under arrest now is 44-year-old Aaron Starbird. He's facing federal charges and is in jail for enticing a child to engage in sexual activity. An arrest report says this started with an Orange County Sheriff's Office investigation last year. A detective posing as a 15-year-old boy on a website allegedly got messages from Starbird showing male private parts and asking him to meet up. They found out that Starbird worked here at South Lake Hospital as a systems specialist pharmacy technician. That did raise some alarms because they worried he could have had unauthorized access to kids who were patients here. The arrest report, again, does not say there's any evidence of that happening, but they brought in the feds to look deeper, and detectives questioned Starbird, who claimed he only liked adults. They also took his phone, though, and they say they found almost 80 images of child sexual abuse material and conversations with other people on Telegram about raping kids. In one of those messages, Starbird allegedly, quote, discussed prior instances of hands-on rape of male children and stated he preferred children between the ages of 10 and 12. Investigators say they were able to find one of the victims in real life. He was 14 at the time and met up with Starbird once in 2024. They don't think that was the only victim, though. In fact, the arrest report says they found, quote, evidence of at least 30 other children they believe have engaged in sexual acts with Starbird after communicating with him online. Orlando Health says Starbird no longer works for South Lake Hospital. He is being held in the Seminole County Jail right now on those federal charges with no bond. Covering Lake County in Claremont, Bob Hazen, West 2 News.
The Levy County Sheriff's Office says sexual abuse can leave lasting trauma, which is why some victims take years to come forward.
But now an arrest has been made in a case that dates back 13 years. TV 20's Rhodesia Robinson joins us live in Bronson with what investigators are saying about this case. Rhodesia?
Investigators say a man is accused in a 13-year-old sexual abuse case is now in custody after tracking him down across the country. Investigators say the suspect, 37-year-old Tommy Poole, was arrested this month in Salem, Oregon, following a joint investigation with Oregon law enforcement. Detectives say the investigation started in December when a woman reported she had been sexually abused as a child more than a decade ago. She says the sexual abuse resulted in a pregnancy and the birth of her daughter.
We don't want to put a time limit on a child to make a report to law enforcement. Sometimes those events, when they're children, leave lasting scars that don't become present until they're later on in life and understand how the world works.
Investigators say cases like this sometimes lead to additional victims coming forward once an arrest is announced. Levy County deputies say under Florida law, the charges do not have a statute of limitation because the victim was under the age of 12 at the time. The suspect could face life in prison. Again, authorities say Poole could face life in prison if convicted and is currently awaiting extradition back to Florida to face those charges. Live in Bronson, Rhodesia Robinson, TV 20.
They're at the top of the list of criminals that we need to get off the street and stop damaging children.
Joe Bushner is the former assistant special agent in charge of the Philadelphia field office for the FBI. He ran investigations and oversaw the criminal case unit.
What makes this case more egregious is there was clearly production involved, which is actually engaging in capturing the images, potentially at times doing actual sexual activity with a minor, and then for the hopes of trading those images.
He reviewed the criminal complaint against George DePetta of Wayne. DePetta has been charged with more than 120 criminal counts after police in Chester County say he downloaded and produced child sexual abuse material. According to court documents, it was an investigator with Yahoo who began looking into images that had been on email servers.
Yahoo, Google, they all do a good job of looking out for these sort of things. They have algorithms in place that are searching for these sort of images to be downloaded. So if they catch something like this, Yahoo, it's a credit to them because Yahoo filed a cyber tip.
Bushner now runs his own investigations firm and says all email search engines and social media platforms are required to look for child sexual abuse material and report it. While Yahoo isn't commenting on this specific case, it does say that it reports all child sexual abuse material to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and will include the subscriber information for the user. The emails Yahoo discovered were in March 2025, but that discovery allowed investigators to look beyond those emails, according to court documents, back years to DePetta's past online activities.
It looks like this is a case where the production happened many years prior, but it was the fact that they downloaded these onto the Yahoo email that triggered them to be found, which triggered law enforcement then to look into it and then look to see if there's subsequent images out there, which certainly, if you have a few victims, there's a chance that there's more victims, unfortunately.
DePetta, according to court documents, had images stored back from as far as 2011. And once a search was done on his Wayne home, investigators discovered devices and thumb drives that led to more evidence against him. Bushner says it's not that criminal cases are becoming more common in this area. It's that more and more resources are being used to catch those, he says, that are behind the making and distribution of child sexual abuse material.
There's a sickness that these people are feeding.
DePetta is free after posting $1 million bond. He's next to appear in court in June. We reached out to an attorney for DePetta who did not return our call for comment by deadline. In Wayne, Deanna Durante, NBC 10 News.
We are awaiting more information from police about a bus driver who was arrested in Jefferson County on Thursday. 64-year-old Robert Waters is accused of felony sexual assault on a child from a person of trust. Here's what we've learned in a letter sent to parents. School leaders say Waters has been driving for Jeffco schools since 2018. He was assigned to Everett Middle School in 2021. The letter adds there are no known victims from Everett.
Behind me here at the Butler County Common Pleas Court in Hamilton, a judge sentenced Justin Dennis to 4.5 years behind bars for grooming and sexually abusing a student at Lakota East High School. Now, he first came in contact with this victim when she was just 15 years old. For the following 2 years, he gained her trust, and then the sexual abuse started. Dennis has been out on bond throughout his court proceedings. The 43-year-old pleaded guilty to 3 counts of felony sexual battery. As part of a plea deal, prosecutors dismissed 5 additional counts. The victim and her family agreed to that plea deal. Judge Keith Spaeth gave him a chance to speak before handing down sentence.
I am deeply sorry to her family. I am deeply sorry to my family and my children. I took responsibility and tried to manage a situation I had no business doing so. And I have since, for the past 4 years, changed my life.
Dennis was a teacher at Lakota East High School. He served as an advisor of a student assistance group, and that's how he met the victim. She told the court she was looking for help as she struggled with some mental health issues and thought Dennis was a figure she could trust and rely upon. Instead, though, he groomed and ultimately sexually abused her for months.
We have a young lady who was troubled, wanted to talk to a teacher who she thought had some expertise in helping her deal with the issues that she was dealing with and getting through life as a young teenager, and he exploited that relationship.
In the end, Judge Spaeth sentenced Dennis to 18 months for each count to be served consecutively for a total of 4.5 years in prison. As part of his sentence, Justin Dennis will be required to register as a level 3 sex offender for the rest of his life. Tier 3 is the highest risk classification for the most severe crimes like rape and child sexual abuse. Level 3 offenders like Dennis must register with the sheriff's office every 90 days for the rest of their life. They're also subject to mandatory community notification to let folks know when they move in the area. They are prohibited from living within 1,000 feet of a school.
Second time this week, Somerset police involved in the arrest of an adult who allegedly tried to entice a child. According to a post on Facebook, 22-year-old Sean Melko, who used the online moniker Ollie, was under investigation for having inappropriate contact online with children in various states, including a victim in Somerset. He allegedly sent sexually explicit photos to an undercover detective posing as a 14-year-old. Investigation led police to Swissvale, Pennsylvania, and that's where Melko was arrested. Somerset police say he will be brought to Massachusetts to face charges here.
A Gorham man was sentenced Thursday in U.S. District Court in Portland for distributing and possessing child sex abuse material. Cody J. Merrill was sentenced to 25 years in prison to be followed by 15 years of supervised release. Merrill has also been ordered to pay $105,000 to victims whose images he possessed. In February of 2025, HSI conducted a search of Merrill's home, ultimately seizing multiple devices. Investigators located more than 5,000 child sexual abuse images in his possession.
A West Memphis man is heading to prison for more than 3 decades after a jury convicted him of child rape. 46-year-old Roy Allen Myers was found guilty following a 2-day trial in Crittenden County. He'll serve 31 years in the Arkansas Department of Corrections. Deputy Prosecutor Michael Snell says delayed disclosures are not unusual in child abuse cases, calling the victim's decision to come forward an act of courage.
A Louisville man is facing decades in prison for sexually abusing a little girl. But as our Madison Elliott finds out, this wasn't his first offense, and it points to a bigger debate on convicted people getting released early. She joins us in the newsroom now with more. Madison?
A federal jury recently found 35-year-old Quentin Dawson guilty of 9 child exploitation charges. But it's not his first time in front of a judge for a similar crime. Not only did he film himself sexually abusing a 4-year-old girl, but based on court documents, the videos were discovered in late 2022, which was just months after he was granted shock probation in a Jefferson County Circuit Court for possessing and distributing child porn. He was indicted on those child porn charges back in 2020. His conviction comes as a larger conversation is going on here in the metro, where a previously convicted felon is let out on something like shock probation only to reoffend. For example, Judge Jessica Green grew criticism for granting shock probation to robbery convict Armand Langford, who reoffended when police say he kidnapped a woman and her children. There have been other cases where offenders have charges that were either amended, reduced, or dismissed, allowing for probation and release. This was the topic of discussion at a Louisville forum yesterday in which retired Judge David Holton and Councilman Anthony Piagentini discussed judicial discretion.
Locally, where we have now scrutinized LMPD and everything they do, they all wear body cameras. everything they do is recorded, and meanwhile not provided the same scrutiny, and the legislative branches of government and the executive branches. And we have not, in my estimation, applied the same level of scrutiny to the judiciary and their role related to maintaining law and order.
Judicial discretion is important. Judicial discretion, when exercised properly, is one of the one of the principles and foundation of once our criminal justice system is built.
Dawson faces a minimum sentence of 35 years in prison and a maximum sentence of 340 years in prison. Dawson is set to be sentenced in June, and there is no parole in the federal system. In the newsroom, Madison Elliott, WLKY News.
Now in Sumter County, a man is behind bars accused of sexually exploiting children. The Sumter County Sheriff's Office arrested 28-year-old Alexander James Bailey Thursday morning. Deputies and GBI agents served a search warrant at Bailey's home after a lengthy investigation. He faces 1 count of sexual exploitation of children and currently being held at the Sumter County Jail. Investigators say the case is active and more charges are pending.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Julie Montanaro.
And I'm Jacob Murphy. A call for parents to step up and pay close attention to what their kids do online. Today, local law enforcement announced the arrest of 20 men accused of online crimes against children.
Our Abrea Ruffin was at the announcement this morning and joins us live right now from TPD headquarters. Abrea.
Yeah, Julie, TPD Chief Lawrence Revel says that his detectives and his officers are actively online monitoring and looking for anyone who intends to prey on children, and they will continue their mission to protect the kids in our community.
It's one of the greatest fears we have as parents is that someone exploits our children.
Tallahassee Police, the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and several other agencies work together to track, arrest, and stop online predators in a sting dubbed Operation Safe Harvest. Body cam footage shows suspects arriving at a home to meet whom they thought would be a child, only to find a team of detectives ready to take them into custody.
Made arrests on 20 suspects, and we made contact with over 75. Think of all the ones that actually got real kids that were not the police. You know, they can become victim of human trafficking, sexual abuse.
Those 20 men were arrested for charges ranging from online solicitation, traveling to meet a minor, sending harmful material to a minor, and more. Chief Revel says many online predators will lie about their age and manipulate kids to gain their trust.
Everybody you're talking to is not whom they seem to be. Yeah, they very likely could be predators, adults that are pretending to be children, pretending to be your friend, pretending to say all the right things to you.
Check your children's phones. You need to scroll through. You need to go through every aspect of their phone. There's hidden files that the parents a lot of times don't know.
Police urge parents to stay alert with what their kids do online, while also emphasizing the department's plans to continue operations just like this one.
Any door you think you're going to walk through and exploit our children, I want you to fear that we're going to be on the other side of that door.
Leaders say with spring break coming up, parents should stay alert about online safety and monitor who their kids are talking to on the internet. For now, reporting in Tallahassee, Abrea Ruffin, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Some important reminders, Abrea. Thank you.
A Latson man could face up to 60 years behind bars after he was arrested on 6 charges related to the sexual exploitation of children. 62-year-old Glenn Cabelli was arrested after local investigators say they got an online tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. No mugshot has been made available just yet. Authorities say Cabelli was in possession of child sexual abuse material. He's now facing 6 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, each punishable by up to 10 years in prison.
Hello and welcome back to the Wisconsin Department of Corrections Sex Offender Registry. Today's specimen is Daniel Joseph Gastelum. He's a 65-year-old non-Hispanic white male here. And we'll take a quick peek at him. Yeah, there's a chomo right there. Kind of looks like one too, don't he? Anyways, we won't dwell on that. Let's see what he's in registry for. Let's see here. Here's his case number. Possession of child pornography. We're not going to call it that anymore. We're just going to say possession of child sexual abuse material, because that's exactly what it is. What I like about the site here in Wisconsin is we're able to click on the case number for further details. So not only do we know where this guy is going to be living or where he lives and his picture and all his info, we can check out his court cases too. And here they are. He was actually charged with 2 possession of child sexual abuse material charges. Not 1, 2. So what happened to the second one? Well, we'll find out in a little bit here. Actually, I'll just tell you. View case details. I like this. We'll take a peek at this here. And it's not 2, it's 10. 10 possession of child sexual abuse material charges. Kind of crazy. So what had happened was they ran the second one concurrent with the first one, and then they dropped the other 8. And what did they give him for it? Let's see. View history and details of charges and sentences. Very nice. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison for 10 charges. Well, okay, 1 charge. But you see, the public doesn't know that unless they check the registry out or follow these court cases. So he got 3 years in the joint, and he got 5 years of extended supervision. But here's the main thing. He was put on the sex offender registry. Now, that just doesn't mean that you're going to get your picture posted and people know where you're at. There are certain things that these people have to follow, if you want to call them people. Let's go over what they are. Right over here, look at this. Notes. This is not fully all what he has to do, but it's pretty much a lot of it. And that is an awful lot for somebody to have to follow through and not mess up. So let's go through a few of them. He has to submit DNA samples, comply with any conditions imposed by an agent from the Department of Corrections. He has to fully cooperate with, participate in, and successfully complete all sex offender evaluations related to risk and treatment. He had an issue with this. I guess he's still going through this stuff. You'll find out during the hearing here. But also he has to participate in and successfully complete all sex offender services deemed appropriate through the sex offender evaluation process. And I'm not going to go through some of this, but I'm just going to jump down a little bit. And we have not have contact or attempt to contact with anyone under the age of 18 without prior agent approval unless accompanied by an adult sober chaperone approved by the Department of Corrections. Contact includes face-to-face contact, contacts facilitated by third parties, and any other forms of communication, including but not limited to telephone, computer, mail, or any other electronic or scientific means. So he can't be around, he can't talk to kids, he can't have nothing to do with them. And he can't be present in a location. Now this is important here. Cannot be present in a location that is frequented by minor children. Okay? Anyways, we'll jump down here. Oh, here's another good one. Not possess material marketed to children, including but not limited to clothing, written material, toys, and games. Okay? So he can't wear a Scooby-Doo shirt if he wanted to. He'll go back to jail. That's awesome. It says, not gain or attempt to gain access to the internet without prior agent approval, nor possess nor view any material that depicts any intimate parts of a child or adolescent. So, of course, no more child sexual abuse material for him. Anyways, there's a little bit more here. I'm not going to go through everything, but this one's pretty good too. Not establish, pursue, nor maintain any dating, romantic, or sexual relationship without prior agent approval. That means the man can't even go out and get a girlfriend without asking his agent first. Kind of like that one. Yeah, well, the guy's married anyways. Just figured I'd fill you in on that one, so it really doesn't matter. Let's see here. One more thing. He has to submit to the polygraph examination process as directed by the Department of Corrections, and he has to pay for it as well. That's pretty sweet. I like that. So anyways, there, Mr. Gastelum. We'll see you in the hearing.
Daniel Gastelum. Okay, you can come on up.
Full disclosure, Dan was the customer of mine, but
Just you.
Okay, really quick. Do you notice how the guy in the middle there said he was a customer of mine? Well, that's because this guy runs the sex offender treatment program, or he's part of it. One thing I don't agree with is him being on this board, because he's familiar with this guy, and they may have made friends with each other. You know, he may have schmoozed him up a little bit. Who knows what goes on? So, I mean, I just not a fan of that. They should be people that are not biased in one way or another.
Okay, so this is your first time appearing before us, correct?
It is.
Okay, so we're going to ask you to tell us what you were arrested and convicted of. When you tell us the offense, please don't mention the victims by name or relationship, okay? And then at one point, we're going to want to discuss any treatment that you may have received. You do have the opportunity to do that in closed session, or we would remain in public session. Do you have a preference?
Public's okay.
Okay. So if you want to go ahead and tell us what you were convicted of.
I was convicted of viewing and downloading child pornography.
Okay. Let's go a little more in detail. How'd you start doing that? Were you looking for it?
No, I was under a lot of stress. I don't want to sound like excuses. When it happened, I was adult pornography addicted, and so I would search for that. And I guess there are things in my computer system that will pop things up on your screen.
Oh, so it's his computer's fault. Wow. We got Lion Pinocchio #1 going on here. And here's why. That stuff doesn't pop up when you watch adult pornography. It never pops up. You have to search for it, and we all know that.
And one of my pathologies, my counselor tells me, is that sometimes you need more graphic things to get the same type of release, and I think that was my issue. So I really appreciate Pablo, because he's really helping me. Until I hadn't a clue. Even through 3 years of prison, I didn't have a clue. I have more of a clue now.
Okay, so he just admitted he doesn't have a clue. 3 years of prison, been out 5 months in this sex offender treatment program, and he still doesn't have a clue. That to me is a giant red flag. How can it not be? It's a giant waving red flag.
So, was this an ongoing thing that you were viewing it, or was it like a one-time deal?
So I'm raised Catholic, I would, when I first did it, I was like disgusted with myself, and I stopped it for a year. And then, another stressor hit me, and, I go back to it. So to some extent, I'm kind of happy that, I can't say happy, but I am relieved. I don't know if you've ever felt like there was always a gun to your head or guillotine to your neck or something like that. And I don't feel that way anymore, because it's kind of out in the open. If I can honestly say for the record, I really hope that society, and I'm going to try to be a part of this.
He's going to try and be a part of it. It sounds kind of familiar. Like, when the predator catchers go out and they catch somebody, and the guy's like, well, can I join your team? I can give you some inside information.
Here's our way to build some, I'll call it medical help. So when a person starts to go down that route, they do it once, they can go out and get help in that. My big thing was why I didn't get help was I thought I'd go to jail. And obviously I went to jail anyway. Stupid of me. But, yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then how did it come to the police's attention?
I guess some download probably they picked up. Well, obviously that's what happened.
Okay. And so then they showed up at your house, and what happened?
Showed up at work.
Okay. And then what happened?
Then they went to the house and did a search.
Okay. And then did you cooperate with the police?
Entirely.
Okay. And did you go to trial?
No, I pleaded guilty.
Okay. Okay. We have a lieutenant from the city of the Green Bay Police Department just to confirm. He'll have a copy of your criminal complaint, so we just confirm with him that what you're telling us is accurate.
Hi, good evening. Sorry about the technical issues before, but I did have an opportunity to review the criminal complaint, and one of the discrepancies in the criminal complaint was that there was information from search engine data that indicated he was specifically looking for child pornography in his search engine, so it wasn't just a matter of looking at adult pornography and having a pop-up of a child pornography image. There was evidence in his search engines that he was looking for that material. Other than that, everything else was accurate.
Let me correct that. What I meant was that's how it started.
Yeah, he corrected that one real quick, didn't he? What I meant was that's how it started. No, it did not start like that. It was not a pop-up.
But then I did look for it. So sorry if I misunderstood.
Okay.
If that's how it started, but then I went searching for it.
Okay. So. All right. Does any of the board members have any questions about his offense?
No.
Okay. So then you pled guilty, you went to prison, you got 3 years initial confinement, and then now you're on 5 years of supervision. Okay. And I'm assuming that while you were in prison, you probably didn't get any treatment. You weren't there long enough.
I tried, but they said because it was initially indicated for not, that, once I got out, me and William Stern, my PO, we arranged for it.
Okay. So you are enrolled in sex offender treatment.
Yep.
So tell us about how long you've been going, how often you go, and what you've learned there.
Okay, so it's coming into the 5th month now, 4 months complete, and never missed a meeting. I'm missing one today, but right now. And then Pablo Cerna is the leader with Hager Institute. And so, I knew there was, the guilt, stress thing. I knew all of that, but what I didn't know was ways to help myself, ways to find help, to understand even what was going on. So it's been a really good program to learn about, things that happened in my childhood that probably had a direct impact on what's happening today. So, I can start putting, because the big thing for me all those months in prison was why? Did I destroy my family? Did I destroy my life? Why? And, I'm learning more about that, and it's a progress thing. So I'm not there.
There he goes again. I'm not there. So what's that tell the board? He's not ready to be out there, right? I mean, there's another red flag.
And I won't leave until I am there, because I've hurt my family badly. Not to mention the fact that, I tried to mitigate things by, and he'll tell you, the files are mostly old files. They're because I tried to mitigate it by thinking that I could do this without having real victims. But that's not true. Because guys like me, we make a market. You make that market, and some kid somewhere is going to hurt for it. So I can tell myself, there's no real person here. That wasn't true. And I'll live the rest of my life trying to make amends.
Do you have an answer to the why now?
I have the reasons why it's probably started, and now I'm learning about managing myself and all of the things that are part of my makeup because of that. Because you don't escape from that; it's there, and now it's just a matter of becoming an expert at that.
So what is the why? Why did you search for child pornography?
The why is because I needed a release, physical release. I wasn't getting it from adult pornography. The physical abuse I received as a child probably has a big impact with what I'm familiar with. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, okay. I'm sorry I'm not very eloquent at this.
No, that's okay. So, you mentioned that you did it because it was a stressor. You were under stress and things like that.
Sort of kicked me into it, yeah.
Yeah. So how are you going to cope now when you have stressors that come up in your life?
One, the stress is gone. Half the stress, 90% of the stress was the fact that I was doing it. And that I knew it was wrong. And
okay, so wait a minute here. 90% of it was the fact that he had the stressors, and the stressors are now gone, but the stressors were that he was doing it. So, he said he was under stress to start with, and that's why he started doing it. So, now this to me is extremely puzzling. I mean, it leads me to believe that he's been doing this a lot longer than what we really know here. But, I mean, that's just me.
I didn't know why. And a lot of it I wanted to not remember, not recall. Now that I haven't been through a lot of that, it's not a draw. I don't know how to say it anymore. It's not a, where before it was like pressure building. I'm going to be homeless, but I don't feel any pressure.
And in comes the victim card.
And then how long are you enrolled in treatment right now?
There's not an end date.
Okay. And is it SOT 1, 2?
I don't know.
I saw that on there.
Does
it say? No? Okay. And it says that you've attended all your groups. I mean, do you actively participate in group?
Yes.
And you're okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board regarding his treatment?
No questions. None here.
No? Okay. So it looks like you're currently at the TLP and you're asking to move to 613 Hubbard.
Yes.
Can I ask why you are not going to reside with your wife?
My wife works for an insurance company from home. Her contract doesn't allow for it.
Can you elaborate a little bit? Like
she goes every year through a thing where they remind her that she can't have a felon in the house.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see. All right.
When she retires, we'll move back together if I don't cause her any harm.
Okay.
I don't intend to.
Okay. And I see that you have 2 adult children.
I do. They'd be here today if they weren't working.
Okay.
Their mom will speak for them.
Okay, but they're actively involved with you right now?
I'm amazed that they are. I don't know, I would be, but they are.
Okay.
They're both, they're going to give me this chance and I'm not going to screw it up.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have any questions for him?
No questions.
Okay. Sorry, I always feel like I'm the one who talks all the time.
That's why we don't have any questions. We ask them all.
And it says that you're retired, but you're looking for work.
Yeah, through SEEK and through CECEP with Robbie Owens. Trying to find something that I can get into. I have that weird thing. I'm claiming Social Security now, so I have a small retirement plus Social Security, but I'm in that bubble where until I'm 66 3/4, they'll take half my pay away if I make a certain amount of money, so I gotta be careful on what I can make. I'm not an expert, but that's what I understand. I've been told that by people at the Dowshman Street Social Security and, what I can find on paper, but I believe that to be true. So I'm just trying. I can't take a job that's going to pay me over a certain amount of money. So I'm trying to find something in between. Haven't been successful. I think it'll help knowing where I'm going to live, because at that point I know where I can go, because I don't have a car, and I really don't want a car at this point. So.
Is it because you can't drive, or you just choose not to?
I just choose not to.
Okay.
I don't know. It goes back to that Catholic thing. Maybe it's penance or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Stay on foot and no bike.
Okay. So then what do your days consist of while you're at home? Well, I know you're at the halfway house, but.
Right. I'm searching for a job. Actively search. So I get out my bike, I go searching. I also shop and do that sort of thing too. Where I've been advised I can't shop. So through William Stern, and he knows it where I am every time. Which is fine with me, by the way. And, so I read a lot. I'm trying to do a lot of this, activities that Pablo gives me, and, doing a lot of soul searching. And so trying to get a better understanding of everything that put me in this situation. I mean, I really do think that I have an understanding of kind of the why.
Okay, wait a minute. So he just a little bit ago said that he had no clue. He was in prison for 3 years, didn't have an idea what was going on. Got out 5 months, didn't have an idea what was going on. And what does he just say right here? Well, I think I kind of know. Wow.
Now it's just solidifying with me that I don't feel stressed right now, but what happens when I finally do? I mean, you would think I'm going to be on the street. I really don't feel stressed there. Maybe because I'm afraid of feeling stress or whatever. But when I do get, let's say I get another high-performing job, I want to know when I walk in there that I have enough of the tools that Pablo can give me and William can give me. Because William and I do he's got a whole list of things that we flick through and choose and then exercise on in terms of handling things that you can affect and things that you can't affect, understanding triggers and finding ways to find routes around triggers. So I'm taking this time to do that. I want a job. I have to have a job because I don't have enough to create what I want for my wife and kids. So I intend to get a job. But once I know where I'm going to live, it'll be a little more easy to really target an area. And now that I've been almost a half year through the program, I feel more comfortable about if I got a high stress job that I'm not going to have those issues.
What kind of work did you do before you retired?
I was an airline operations supervisor.
Okay. I really don't have any other questions.
I've got one more.
Yes.
Do you have anybody lined up as a chaperone if you want to go and do things?
My wife is willing to do that, yeah. I think my oldest son would be willing to do that too.
Okay, thanks.
And are you on GPS?
Yeah.
If we approve this address, will you be removed from GPS?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a lifetime registered?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
We do have somebody who wanted to speak.
Yep. So yes, I understand. Is it you that want to speak? Yes. Okay, if you want to come up, and just state your name and address for the record.
Okay.
Sure.
Sherry Gaston,
at 2209 Transford Lane, Apartment 13, DePere, Wisconsin, 55115.
Okay.
I'm here today to speak on behalf of my kids and me. If they weren't working, they would be here too. We fully support him, and I see every day improvements in him. And I believe in second chance and him getting better.
While he was in prison, did you go and visit him?
I did not visit because of COVID and having severe asthma. Moderate to severe asthma.
She wrote me every day.
I tried to write him every day.
Okay.
Through emails and letters.
Okay. And how did you feel like when you first heard about these charges? Like, did you know that he was looking at pornography in the beginning?
I was not aware.
Okay.
We've been married at the end of April. It'll be 28 years this year.
So this came to a shock to you?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm here to support him through love, being for daily and communication.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone have questions for her?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And then was there somebody else who had something that needed to speak?
There was a comment form that was submitted online for someone who wanted to speak, to give their opinion. For what it's worth, for the pull-down menu, what is your opinion on the item? They indicated that they were in favor of the item, but they're not online to provide any further comments. So,
okay. Okay. All right. So, listening to you and to your wife, I would not have a problem approving you to reside at this address.
Are you kidding me? Really?
We always kind of look at the treatment and how are you responding to the treatment, and I feel that you're pretty sincere in what you're learning, and having those tools to apply to life. So that's just how I feel, but there are other board members, and eventually we would just need somebody to make a motion, to make that call. So does anyone have anything they want to?
Well, I've known Dan for a while now, and he's a good guy.
There we go. There's the bias right there. I've known him for a while, and he's a good guy. Really?
He's done what he has to do to try to get his life back together. He's been doing this since I met him a while back. And he will find work, I believe that. I also feel like we should approve this request.
I agree. You can see he's really working hard to get his act together and straighten out his life.
Great. Move to approve, address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So you are approved to reside at 613 Hubbard. Know that if you do decide to move from that address, you will need to come back before us. And would you like that letter sent to the Hubbard or to the TLP?
Hubbard.
Okay. Thank you.
Gary
Sisti.
Sisti, terrific guy. And just want you to know that he's a tough guy, too. He's 81 and all tough nails. I think he was a veteran of some Korea thing. But anyway, I think he's going to be a help to us, too. My wife and I have gotten to know him pretty well. And he supports me as well. So.
That's what you need, a good support system.
Good luck, Dan.
All right. Thank you.
Is there anything I need to do further?
No.
I'm going to move in tomorrow. Is that okay?
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Gary, can I call you about just some job ideas?
Call me anytime.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, well, that was Daniel Joseph Gastelum. And he's now allowed to live within the city limits of Green Bay. You guys hear what I heard? I mean, that was just insane. Wrong in every way possible. I mean, he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know why he was doing it. He just barely started his treatment. It's just unreal. And the board just seemed oblivious to everything that, to me, like I was saying, were big, huge red flags. Anyways, let's take a peek down here. And, yep, there he is, 613 Hubbard Street, Apartment 5, Green Bay. Terrible. Very terrible decision. All right, let's check out where he's living. Here's our map. And then we'll do a full screen here. And we'll jump on the satellite. My favorite. Okay. Not too conspicuous. We'll zoom in a little bit here. And first thing I noticed is this little green area right here. Oh my goodness. Fort Howard Elementary School. Or Fort Howard, by the way. Sorry about that. 1 block away. So he's got little kids running around. There's a playground out back here. Not even a block, because he's right, well, yeah, about a block. He's right here. Boom. Insane. Now, here's another thing. Let's look down this way. Alright, just a couple blocks. See this parking lot? Green Bay West High School. And of course, you know, kids, a lot of high school kids just walk home. So every day, within just a few blocks, there he is. We're within a high school and 1 block away from an elementary school right here. Insane. I mean, don't they even check the geographical location where these guys are going to be at? This is nuts. We'll zoom out a little bit. Frank B. Seymour Park. Looks huge. It spans 5 blocks. How far away is that from them? 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks down. Craziness. I don't understand this. I never will. But he's out there roaming around somewhere. See you guys on the next one.
Yeah, my mother told me there'd be days like this.
Just when you thought you could turn your back and walk away, the dark cloud of human indignity follows you. You have no choice but to turn and look it in the eye. It's the sex offender hit list.
Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're going to start this one off at the Wisconsin Department of Corrections Sex Offender Registry. And here we find Mr. Mark Stats. Take a closer look at him here. Yeah, creepy looking chomo, ain't he? Anyways, we're not going to dwell on this face too long. So, why is he on the registry here? Well, we're going to go down to the bottom of the page, and these aren't in order, by the way. But back in '93, he was convicted of second-degree sexual assault of a child. And they're not in order, so we'll go up to the top one. In '95, another second-degree sexual assault of a child. I just mentioned something really quick. So, there's only a 2-year difference between these 2 charges, right? So, what kind of a sentence is that? We're going to find out during the hearing here. But in the middle, of particular attention is he was deemed a sexually violent person. And it says commitment here. So he was committed in 2003. How long was he committed for? Well, let's just say he got out in February of this year. So 21 years in a mental hospital. And so now he wants to live within the city of Green Bay. And in order to do that, you have to go to the Sex Offender Residency Board. And you've got to answer their questions. And they're going to be able to tell you if you're going to be able to live in their city limits or not. So we're going to go over the sexually violent person commitment here at the end of the hearing. But until then, let's just check out this hearing. See you on the flip side.
All right, the first appeal that we are going to hear today is Mark Stats. Please come forward. So, Mark, you have never been before us, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask you to tell us about your offenses. If I'm correct, only the adult offenses. Okay? And When you talk about the incident, we don't want you to name the victim, nor state the relationship of the victim. Okay. And then we do have a representative from the Green Bay Police Department that will confirm what you're telling us is accurate. So please be as detailed as you can.
Okay.
All right. So if you first want to start off and tell us about your conviction.
When I was 18, befriended a girl, a young girl. I believe she was 15 or 16. And within a day, I assaulted her. At the time, I believed it was okay because she was willing. But since then, I've learned that that's not okay, and that I've learned to be not okay with that, and not to think that it's okay.
And when you say you assaulted her, what did you exactly do?
I had intercourse with her.
Just one time?
Yes, just one time.
And then how did the police get involved?
I believe social services was called, and then from there, the details are sketchy. It was 30 years ago.
It was what?
It was 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So the details are sketchy.
Okay.
I do know the authorities were called, and then action was taken, investigations. Went to court and was sentenced to 10 months in jail, and I think 5 years probation.
Okay. And you pled guilty on that, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
Either guilty or no contest.
Okay. All right. Lieutenant Allen, is that accurate?
According to the criminal complaint, there was 2 sexual intercourse incidents within the same day, separated by time.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely. Like I said, my apologies. It was 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. I make no excuses for that either. I don't justify it.
Okay. All right. And I believe you have another one?
Yes, I was 20 years old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was 20. The young girl was 14. What's that? Oh, I think it's that's I'm sorry. Sorry, very nervous. I had met her outside of school. She was talking about committing suicide. I let her get in the car, knowing that I probably shouldn't do that because I was still on probation from the first one. But I didn't want to have that suicide thing on my conscience. So against my better judgment, I let her in the car. I tried to help her out with some family-related stuff regarding around. And in the end, the car got stuck in some sand. And I was supposed to be at treatment. At that time that we were stuck for sexual assault, sex offender treatment, and I was late, and I knew or believed that I was already in trouble because of that, and that was my justification for, well, she's into it, I'm already going to be in trouble, so why not? So we then had intercourse in the car, one time. Afterward, got the car unstuck, and then I dropped her off at home. Within a few days, I know the authorities were contacted, and then I was put on appeal hold, and then charged with sexual assault with her offender.
I believe I was given a 7-year sentence for that. And also a 7-year sentence for revocation from the first.
Lieutenant Allen, do you have the Sauk County case? Is that accurate?
Yes, it is. I reviewed the criminal complaint, and that is accurate.
Okay, thank you. Does the board have any questions regarding those offenses?
None.
Okay. So you have the option, at one point we're going to want to talk about any treatment that you may have received or are currently receiving. You have the option to do that in closed session, or we would remain in public session. Do you have a preference?
I can do it in open.
Okay. So you did provide us a letter today.
Yes.
From REACH, saying that you have been in treatment since June of 2021. Why so late? Why did it take you so long to get into treatment?
After my prison sentence in 2002, I was committed under 980.
Okay.
And spent 19 years under that.
At Sandridge, right?
At Sandridge, correct. Once released from there, unsupervised release, which I spent approximately 2.5 years, I was involved in treatment weekly, and are continuing with the same counselor to go and see her once a month. It's kind of maintenance, if you will, kind of it's transition.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Transition as part of transitioning, and some of the struggles that I've been having to go through with transitioning and not having a permanent place to live yet, and just going from prison life, which is all I've really ever known, is institution life since I was 15, up until age almost 50 now. Transition's been relatively okay, but there's still some emotional pitfalls that I've fallen into that I've had to dig myself out of. If you want, I can go into a few details.
Yeah, could you
one
please?
of them, there was a brief period, even as a few months ago, where things weren't going well. I was trying to get an apartment, and that kind of fell through as far as the property, the management level. And I had some suicide-related thoughts. And, I wonder if I just wasn't here anymore, would it be easier? And obviously, I know it wasn't rational, and it was just my mind reacting to the situation and the stress of not being in a stable home. I was able to talk with my counselor and the family about it, and just say, this is where I'm struggling. I'm having a tough time with this stuff. And I've never really had that as an issue. Suicide's never been part of my history, and that scared me. And that was another reason that I continued on with the treatment, because it just scared me, and I couldn't do it myself and my family. They've been with me from the beginning, nothing but supportive, no judgment. Some of them are here today. And that's why I continue to just so I do better. Just so I don't repeat any of the stupid mistakes that I made, stupid decisions when I was a child. Or even a young adult acted like a child. Because that's how I knew. And now I know better. I know how to act better. I've had 19 years of weekly, bi-weekly, twice a week therapy, if not more. Or like 4 to 6 hours every week. I know myself pretty much inside that. But I've learned a few things since I've been out here because it's a new environment. excuse my French, it's scary as shit. But I'm doing it. I'm here for you guys. That means I've made some progress. And as scary as it is being here right now, that's what I have to do for whatever the next step is in my life. And here I am.
Are you a lifetime registrant?
Correct.
So do you have a bracelet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life.
All right. And I'm going to gather that while you were at Sand Ridge, you were in multiple SOT treatment throughout that time frame.
Weekly, every week. It was continuous. It was nonstop. Anytime we took breaks, it was like for holidays. You know, they were retooling the treatment progress, but it was every week, 2-3 times a week, 4 to 6 hours, depending on which variation of the treatment I was on.
Can you tell us, give us one of your best takeaways that you've gotten from treatment?
Strangely enough, being able to identify my own feelings. It's one thing I couldn't do in the beginning, because I still have the cheat sheet somewhere. It's just a list of feeling names that I can go, that's what I'm feeling right there. I can't describe it, but I can see it and go, I can make the connection. And I would literally sit in group and just write down feelings, like, to create a longer list. It was like 3 pages. And I knew I still wasn't done, but it gave me something to focus on, to give me a voice for myself, which I never had growing up. I didn't know how to speak what I was feeling, thinking, whether it was a deficiency on my part or my family raising me, whatever. I didn't have it. And that's the biggest part that they gave me. And once I could identify those feelings, I could attach that to what I was doing or thinking or feeling. Oh, wait, that's that thing here. I'm feeling scared. Okay, I'm scared. What am I scared about? And then start to break it down. Best tool they ever gave me. And not only did they give it to me, but I fostered it. Even now, when I'm talking with family or somebody, sometimes I struggle for words. But that's the one thing that I learned not to struggle through these feelings. I can't get it, give me a list. I got a list up here, there.
Okay. And then did you discuss why you committed your offenses? Like, was there a reason behind? Was there a trigger? Was there, I know in the second instance, you thought, well, I'm going to be in trouble. I might as well just do it.
The theme that runs through my whole history was, what's the right word? I won't say lack of acknowledgement, but someone saw me and I felt something in that moment. Like, it didn't matter that she was young, it didn't mean that I was committing a crime or that I might be hurting them. Part of me said, oh, okay. But I dismissed it because they paid attention. They validated me. And that's all I was ever looking for, was that validation. They gave it to me. And everything else went out the window because of that. I don't need that validation at that level anymore.
And why not?
I'm 50 years old.
But everyone kind of needs a little bit of...
I agree. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I get the validation from going to work, from my family, from going for a bike ride. I've been big into bikes since I was a young kid. When I got out, got some good stuff. I love going for bike rides. I got to sign up for a bike ride later on, Bike to the Beach. It gives me the pleasure that I never had necessarily as a kid. I liked as a kid, but give me that space and freedom. And sorry if I'm going on that.
Nope, that's. I mean, we need to hear this stuff because, you know, I'll be honest with you. You have a pretty lengthy history, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And you know, for someone to go under the 980. mean, that's not an easy thing. It takes a lot for somebody to be labeled a 980. And I read the notes on there, and, the state said they didn't feel they had enough to keep you there anymore. Which in my opinion is a little bit vague, right? Like, why don't they have enough? What were they looking for? So, I'd rather have you tell us what you've gone through and the treatment, so the board members here can make an educated decision as to whether it's okay for you to reside in the city.
Okay.
So I'm okay with that. Does anyone have questions on his treatment from the board?
I don't have a treatment, but I have a question about the address.
Yeah, we'll get there. You can go ahead, ask him.
What address are you asking to live at? There's a couple of us now.
Quincy Street, number 109.
141 South Quincy Street.
Yes.
It should be highlighted in the packet.
Yeah,
They're both listed.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
And so the Heritage Road that you live on, do you live with your boss right now? Is that correct?
That's the address where my mail and stuff goes, but right now I'm bouncing from hotel to hotel.
Okay.
At quite a large expense, but it was my decision.
Okay. And so you have been doing that for how long?
About 2 months.
Okay. Because it's been 2 months since you got off the 980. Is that correct?
I got off at the end of January.
End of January.
I did live with my boss for a little while. There was some family dynamics, and I had to move on. And since then, I've been bouncing around from hotel to hotel.
Okay. And where are you working at?
A place called Clover Ridge Converting.
Okay. And what kind of hours do you work there?
7 to 3:30.
And do you have a driver's license?
Correct.
And a car?
And a car.
Okay. All right. And so tell us what you do when you're done with work. What kind of things do you do in your spare time? I know you mentioned the biking.
Bike riding. Currently, not a whole lot. Go shopping. And kind of sit in the room. When I get my own place and get settled in, I got knitting, crocheting, writing and recording music. What else? Plus canvas. Spending time with family. Going out with my nephew. God, it's great. And just getting to know the family. If not every weekend, I'm going to the mom's house and saying hi. My brother, one of my brothers, my sister, somebody, my aunt. Just trying to get those relationships back that were missing in 19 years. No. Decades of that continuous contact, and that was broken up over time. There was some during Sandgrid, maybe once a month, or a phone call, and it's not quite the same. Being here in person, we're trying to grow that relationship back, and that means everything. I like phones and texting. I can spend time with my coworker, who I'm currently rooming with, for somewhat convenience sake, because hotels are expensive. We spend time together. Hey, want to go out to eat? Sure. Who's treating? Okay, I'm treating. Oh, you got it? Okay, cool. Because to me, spending time with people means something to me. I value their time, the friendship, the relationship. That's the validation that it is, just spending time and just being in the presence of good people.
Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, I believe you may have some people that want to speak on your behalf. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
All right. First, we have Amy Kocha.
So Amy, we'll just ask for you. Oh, you've got her spelling and her address.
Yes, I think we still have to have.
Oh, okay. So if you could just state your name and your address for the record, please.
Sure. Annie Kocha, 612 Grove Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54302.
All right. And what would you like to say about Mark?
Well, I just wanted to acknowledge thank you for the time you do as committee members. Appreciate that. And just want to acknowledge my full support of Mark coming out into the community. Mark and I have been close. I can also acknowledge that when he first offended as an adult, I was the person that reported him. And so I think as a family, we are very close and we're loving and we're demonstrative. And we often say, I love you, and we hug. But we also don't support any negative behavior. And it's very important to us to make sure the community we live in is safe. And I absolutely can tell you, during his time on supervised release, there were many times that he was faced with annoying challenges, just with the practicality of expecting people to show up to give you a ride to work. They don't show up, they don't call, things like that, things that the average person would be able to just get on the phone or react to. But he was so totally committed. I mean, I was more vocal about it than he was sometimes, and he was so absolutely committed to not letting anything stand in his way of being released. And he just not wanted to go back, because he knew that if he did, we as a family made it clear this is kind of a one-shot thing. We've been behind you for all these years. We really need you to step up to the plate, and he has absolutely done that. And I can say that unequivocally. I'm very proud of him. I love him a lot. And of course, you can hear the family bias, of course, but I do believe we've been able to step back and take that objective side too. I can also tell you that while he was on supervised release, when he started living out in New Franken, he stepped into a house that already had an occupant, another young man who maybe had been there a few months ahead of him. And it was funny because when he was getting out of Sand Ridge, he and we talked a lot. And I said, what if you are in this house with this guy and he's pulling some stuff, He said, well, I guess I'm not sure, I guess I won't know till I face it. And it happened. The guy had a cell phone he was hiding and was making other more minor type of things he was trying to get away with. And Mark reported him. And he definitely didn't want anything to come in the way of him being released. And it was clear it was going to be very easy to be dragged down with that and be potentially accused of something. And he just didn't want any part of that. So I was very proud of him for that. And one advantage that then created was then that for the almost 2 years he was living alone in that house. And it really gave him, and that was, I think, kind of scary at first and kind of lonely at first, but it really gave him that opportunity to be on his own, to create his own living space, to have his, his things where he wanted them, etc. The things we all take for granted in terms of having our own place. And he really grew to like it. And so now there's not that fear of I'm stepping into an apartment for the first time in 30 years, and he's gotten used to it, and I think that's been a big advantage, and an advantage for us as a community. It's just to be able to see, to know that he's really ready. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Does any of the board have questions for her? Okay. Thank you. There's another speaker?
We've got 3 that registered.
Okay.
There's a Jeff Jaco.
Okay.
Jeff Jaco, 2451 Heritage Road, Goodyear, Wisconsin, 51115.
Okay. All right. And what would you like to say?
Well, I can tell you that I worked with a lot of the individuals that come from Sand Ridge on Mark's program. My company brings them in, we give them the opportunity to start that next chapter in their life. They're watched, they're monitored, they're given every opportunity for advancement as well as anybody else that would come in. As a matter of fact, they've been the best employees, so I continue to work with the program. They're there every day, they work hard, they're just happy someone is giving them a chance. I didn't know Mark from anywhere before. He started out and just every month would drive me bananas asking, what else can I do? What else can I do? Will you teach me how to do this machine? Will you teach me how to fix this? Will you teach me how to do that? And I will admit it was a strain. We finally had to put a $50 bounty on every time Mark would walk in my office and go, I have an idea. But that's Mark. And that's what I've learned is, I didn't know him as a kid. And he made mistakes. He wanted recognition and so on and so forth. There's many lost kids. Unfortunately, some don't get caught that shouldn't, and some get caught. But Mark is very analytical. He's very precise. He thinks it. He wants to understand it. He wants to learn it. He spoke about his notes earlier. For the first year, every lunch, I would see him writing down his emotions that he had that morning or any thoughts that he may have had. Within a year, I knew Mark was destined to stay with the company and be a feature part of it. He just has that mental ability to do it. As a child, he, like we all do, he ran wild. Well, he found out he likes to play guitar. He's musically inclined. He has that ability that, hey, my whole family was musicians. Guess who bombed out? I didn't get it. That wasn't my gene, but Mark has it. And so he enjoys that. That gives him something to do. We talked about his bike riding. Again, when he did stay at that house, it's hard for me sometimes with these guys because they are so institutionalized. They're waiting for you to tell them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it. And so when Mark came to me, he would say, well, you want me to tell you when I'm leaving? Why? You're 50 years old. Go. Well, do you want me to wake you up when I get home? Not unless you want me to get pissed off. No. You have the code. Go in and go out. Do what you need to do. Within a year of being with the company, he became a production supervisor. How did it happen? Well, we have another gentleman that's sitting over at, where's Dave? Sanger B. Because, well, at 55, he can't figure out that he can't drink and drive. I wasn't even in the country. Didn't even know until I called him. Mark answered the phone at the company and said, yeah, Dave's not here. And I'm like, what? Went online because I assumed I knew what it was. Yep, sure enough, there he was at Curry Lane. I said, okay, Mark, here's what I need you to do. Here's what I want you to do. If there's any problems, you call me immediately. 5-hour time zone difference. My day was starting at 2 a.m. and ending at 8 p.m. Trying to control all of the companies and in their time zones. Mark took it on, did amazing. It came back to no issues. That's the first time in about 16 years that I have supposedly been somewhere to relax and was able to. Because it's always been constant. Mark has what it takes to be the real asset in any community and to himself. He's talented, he's intelligent, he's committed, he's made mistakes, he's owned up to them, and personally I'm proud to know the guy. I mean, I would, I'm not into rental properties and I have no interest in it. I have enough headaches with commercial properties and converting companies and whatnot. But I would not think twice. Because I know the property would be taken care of. I know Mark would be respectful. I know Mark would report any activities going on in the area. Because that's who Mark is today. That's who Mark has become. We've had lots of talks. You asked about his counseling. My company policies, my door is always open. Again, I have 3, 4 on the bracelet right now.
Everybody's only 4.
Well, Derek's
I get.
yeah.
That's 4 of us.
But, you know, I've gone through, other than this process here today, I've gone through every stage with them. I've seen them come and get picked up, and I've talked to them. Stay on the path. Stay on the path. You have this long to go. Stay on the path. They get discouraged. They screw up. Guess what? Bink, they get picked up. Tracy at parole calls me and lets me know. Mark's like, I've been telling him. I'm like, so have I. Okay. So there are certain ones that I agree, they're lifers. You know, they're just too institutionalized. They're not going to get it. This one isn't that case. This one isn't that case. He deserves a chance. He deserves to get the last 10, 20 years, whatever he gets out of it, to be Mark. He did his time. He paid his dues. He's going to wear a bracelet the rest of his life. You know, as a business owner, okay, I got 5 kids, 2 granddaughters, 4 daughters. I'm very sensitive to the issue that Mark is charged with, as well as the other employees. But I also understand that if they go through the process and they show the remorse and they show that they've changed, there should be the opportunity at the end. Is, I guess, where I'm going with it. You know,
we're over on time, Mr. Jacob. If you want to wrap
done.
up your thought, okay.
Wrap it up, unless you have something for me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nope, thank you. Okay, next.
Chris Person.
2 more.
Yep.
Chris Person, 1231 Shawano Avenue, Apartment 1, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54303.
Okay. I see.
On Mark's mother. I didn't think I'd get emotional, but I'm his mother, and in all the time that he was locked up, 30 years, he missed his siblings' weddings, the funerals of his grandparents, to whom he was very close, his nephews being born and them being raised. And he didn't just miss it physically, he missed it in his heart, because we are a close family. And I am proud of all my children, including Mark. They are all good people in their hearts. They would do anything for anybody if they needed it. Give you the shirt off their back. And Mark would do that too. He's a good man. He made mistakes, we all do. But he has turned out to be a good man. And I am proud of him for all that he's accomplished. He did more in prison than people on the outside. He taught himself to play the guitar. He taught himself so much of this knit and crochet. I mean, it sounds trivial, but he kept busy and he kept learning. And I just know that he's ready. And because of his incarceration and all the things he missed, he would never, ever again do anything to jeopardize the freedom that he is now experiencing. I just know that. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the people that we had pre-signed up. I don't know if there's anyone on Zoom.
Is there anyone on Zoom or anyone else in the audience that needs to speak on Mr. Stott's behalf? Okay. So this is kind of the board's time to kind of discuss, how we feel about the situation. I'll be honest with you, when I first saw your packet, I was a pretty hardcore no. You had one after another, mm-hmm. And at what point do you learn that what I did was wrong? Right. 19 years at Sandridge is a really long time. But I feel that you have seriously taken your treatment to heart. I think you were able to tell us things that probably people who have been in treatment for a long time haven't been ever able to face. So for that, I give you a lot of credit. And obviously you have a support system that is very, very important. Being out in the community after being locked up for so long, there's so many changes, right? I mean, there's technology changes that you have to learn all over. There are, what?
Roundabouts.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel just the little bit that you have shared with us, I feel you're adapting well. Again, because you have that support system, I think that's going to help you along. And for how much your family does care about you, I don't think you're going to want to disappoint them again. So my opinion is I would have no issues with you residing at the Quincy Street address, but we do have other board members that need to kind of voice their opinions.
Yeah, I'm with you, Heidi. When I first read his report, I thought, wow, it's a pretty difficult case. But listening to you and your support changed all that. You see a lot of people that come in here, and we don't see a lot of people that's just been behind them. Thank you. You're a lucky man. I'm also encouraged to vote for him.
Same unanimous. Probably I've been doing this for a few years now only, but yeah, this is probably the most positive case I've heard of so far.
Thank you. That means what?
Alex or Dominique, do you have
Yeah. Mark, what are the conditions of your bracelet? So I'm trying to get at is like if you go to a park, does it alert somebody? What are the restrictions on there?
No, there's no alerts, no restrictions. It's just there to monitor me day to day.
Okay, thank you.
Dominique?
I feel like any concerns I might have had found me relieved by everything you said. I personally don't have an objection to him moving, so I'm in agreement with you guys. So any concerns that I've had, I don't have anymore after listening to him and hearing the people that have spoken to him.
Okay. Is there anyone that would like to make a motion?
Move to approve address specific.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay. All right. You are approved to reside at the 441 South Quincy, apartment number 109. Mm-hmm. If you decide to move from there, you do have to come back before us.
That was going to be one of my questions.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then do you want us to mail that letter to the Quincy Street, or do you want us to mail that to the Heritage Road?
Heritage Road, please.
Okay. All right.
I'm not sure exactly when I'll be moving in. That hasn't been worked out yet.
Okay.
But it will now.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
All right. Here we are back at the Wisconsin Department of Corrections Sex Offender Registry page, right where we started from. It's really quick here. I want to show you something. I skipped down to the bottom immediately for a reason. Because right here would have gave it away. That's his new residence. Let's take a quick peek at it. I like the option here, show the map. Where's he gonna live? Nah, it doesn't look too suspicious, but I'm gonna hit the satellite version of it. Let's zoom in a little bit. You can't really tell from there what's going on in the neighborhood, right? We're gonna zoom in, and what do we see here? St. John's Park, 2 streets away. And look over here, it's a baseball field. We'll zoom in a little bit more. Yep, look at that. Oh, it's Navarino Park. It's an actual park, not a baseball field. I was wrong. And that's just about a block. So he's living in these apartments here, and he can just walk right over to the park and over to the other park. Okay, enough about that. Let's go back to, let's see here. These details right here. This. He was deemed a sexually violent person and he was committed to a mental hospital. How long? Well, this was in 2003, and as you heard during the hearing, he just got out in February of this year. So, he's been in there 21 years. I mean, that's freaking insane. Well, why was he there? I've got it right here. We'll check this out. I was able to find an appeal. They do about one a year on the sexually violent criminals and predators and whatnot. And we're going to go down to the background where it says Stats was initially found to be a sexually violent person and committed to a secure mental health facility on November of 03. The determination was supported by a couple doctors and whatnot. So he was diagnosed with personality disorder, not otherwise specified as an NOS, and paraphilia. Now, what is paraphilia, you may ask? Well, paraphilia has a definition of being a sexually deviant person, or a violent sexual person, or sadistic sexual person. So, also down here, hebophilia. So he likes young teens as well. Anyways, he was went through all these different appeals. There's plenty of them. Pretty much 1 year until this year, where they finally said, you know what, we're going to let you out finally. Unreal. So we've got this guy living here next to a couple parks, and he's free to roam. I mean, he's only been out 3 months. That's not enough time to be able to tell if a person's able to, first of all, even be around society, let alone our children. I really don't agree with the board on this one. Hey, if you don't, leave me a comment down below. Let me know. You guys have a wonderful evening. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
Now get in there!
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colours. All the colours. Imagination is freedom. And whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?